Hello, hello. Hi. All right, guys. So, welcome back. This is going to be a bonus general message. These are the ones that I start out with something real, some anecdote that pertains to my dog, and then we see if that sets the tone for our story. Puppy dog got himself some good old belly full of cat food, and he was quite the Mr. Miserable. And so last night he was asking Mama to fix his tummy all night long. Poor little guy. We were out a lot, taking him out to go potty, and then he decided that the thing that would make him feel best at about 4 in the morning was if he just laid with his head on my hip and I just pet him for 45 minutes. And if I would cease the petting, he would, and I would begin petting, and then that would soothe. And then by sunup, he was completely fine and he's been great. But he had to get that through his tummy. So he was a stinky little fellow last night and a miserable little pup. But yeah, no cat food eating for him. So sometimes he sneaks off and does naughty things. And yeah, he had himself a little Thanksgiving festival apparently and learned the hard way that's no good for his tummy. So we'll keep that in mind for this story and just say there's a lot of different aspects that maybe we could use. We did just get the Seven of Wands, so maybe I should say the thread to pull out of that is the obstacles, right? The obstacle is, in my story, Puppy did something he shouldn't do. He ate stuff he cannot eat, and then he kind of like had to face the difficulties, the consequences. Seven of Wands is definitely a message of, okay, how do I deal with a struggle? How do I face a problem? In this case, we have somebody who is, they're made out of stone, but it's very disjointed, right? They've got a skull here, but then out of this other chunk of stone, there's their ear. On top of that, there's their arm. It's very much like we could say someone is refusing to see their role that they play in something. They could be making things more difficult than it needs to be. They could be looking at a situation from a very disjointed way. They could be looking at a situation and seeing it like, oh gosh, I don't know what I've done here, and I don't really want to see what I've done here. I instead am just faced with an obstacle and I don't really understand why. So we'll keep all of that in mind as we look at this. We got the devil. Okay, so somebody does have a belly full of cat food that they shouldn't have eaten. I mean, I'm not laughing, by the way. I worry so much about my boy when he has an upset tummy. He's got a very delicate situation. No matter what, I've always been really careful with his diet. So it's been like, oh, I didn't sleep much last night. I was so worried about him, but he's good now. But with the devil, there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of toxicity in this. There's a lot of stuff that the obstacle somebody is having in this storyline has everything to do with some poor choices being made and continuing to be made. That's tough. That's really tough to see that a character seems to be confused about what is making their life stagnant, what is making their life difficult when it appears their choices are the things. We got Page of Wands. We have the Star. See, but they're almost living in a bit of a fantasy. They want to imagine like this fantastical thing happening, their wishes coming true. We have the Star card here, but the effort that they're putting in to get to that wish come true is only a page's amount of effort. And to top it off, I'm going to say it's mostly like they can paint a pretty visual in their head. You notice how the painter's palette is coming off of their skull. It's like this character is unaware of what they need to do to remove the blockage in order to get to their wish fulfillment. The only problem here is that is the problem. The fact that they can't see it. The fact that there's ooh, I almost knocked over that deck, so let's use it. The fact that somebody is kind of sabotaging their own chances and they're not seeing it that way and they're creating a blockage. And the fantasy aspect of this is really messing this up further. Ace of Wands, Ten of Swords. Oh my gosh. They have so much passion for something that's actually already over. Tell me about that. That's a tough message to read. They have so much passion for something that's done and over. Four of Pentacles, something that they held back from, they even continue to hold back from, but they want it, but it's over. But they keep, I don't know, we've got this weird blend, and I don't know how else to explain this, but we'll go with it. We have a character who their inner child is, I would argue, the biggest version of themselves, meaning it's the dominant version of themselves, their inner child aspect. We see it again with that page, and the pages are children. So they have, I'm not saying this person has a childlike mind per se, but I'm saying they look at something really important, really grown up that they want in life, but they're seeing it with the level of comprehension of the complexities of the situation that someone of a much younger, more inexperienced age would see it as. But it's like they war with themselves about how they can get what they want. But it's almost like then they project their alter ego, and they have two different alter egos here. They've got the confident, swaggering version of themselves, and they got this slow, quiet version of themselves. Both of them are, their alter egos are much more confident than they are in reality. Again, the quickest way for me to say this is we have somebody who's a fantasist. Hey, I'm a fictional storyteller. I'm a fantasist, right? There's different ways that we can apply that. The only thing is if there's like a wish or a dream that somebody has, and they like, it's great to have a goal, a wish, a dream, no matter how big it is. The only thing that I think changes like the fantasist into the realist is if our big dream, our big goal, our big fantasy becomes achievable because we take actionable steps to make it happen, then we're not just a fantasist, we're somebody who's like a visionary, and we're going to then pursue those things and make them happen. We look at the reality of what it takes to get from point A to point B to make those things happen. Whereas in the fantasist, this is just my interpretation, by the way, just because of what's coming up in this doesn't mean I'm right, but the fantasist says, I want this wonderful thing, but they don't ever ground those thoughts and say, now let me look at what I would need to do to get it. So instead, they have massive blockages, things that would make it impossible for them to achieve those dreams. Like, let's say it's somebody who says, you know what, I want to own like the most expensive sports car ever, but they aren't looking to even go get a job, but they sit around and they say, but I'm going to talk about that fantasy sports car that I'm going to have. But they're putting in zero effort to go out and find a way to make money to then be able to afford the car. So now it's just a fantasist. A realist can say, I want that fancy car. I'm a visionary, but now I put it into realistic steps to go get it. And yeah, realistically, I also know about how long it's going to take me. And I've done the work, I've done the research, I've figured out what I need for a down payment, what I need for collateral, whatever it is. And then they make it happen. This character seems like they kind of have ideas, and then they give it to their alter egos who keep swaggering around thinking that they should be allowed to have it. And it's almost like they're thinking, well, what version of me will get my wishes to come true? Well, neither, because we can't have alter egos. We have to have our real self that we develop, and then have real plans, and then really make it work. So this character, they are their own blockage. And what is it that they want? They want something that's already over. So the big question is, why is something that they want so badly already over? Hey, Jay Rainstone. Hi, Don. We have High Priestess. We have Six of Swords. I said, what is it that's already over? It may be a situation with a High Priestess, and the High Priestess said, deep down, what I know is that I got to move on from this person, because if they think they can have a fantasy relationship with me, it's only ever going to remain in the fantasy. It's only going to be in the 5D. They're never going to like land the plane and make it happen in the 3D. So yes, I moved on from them. It's over because I had to let them go, because I knew I had to, because they weren't taking actionable steps, no matter how bad they want me. Can I just see then what is the biggest obstacle, really? I mean, we saw the devil, but I still don't understand what is the devil. What is the big obstacle to them having a chance with this High Priestess? Well, an Empress is a pretty darn big obstacle. An Empress is a wonderful card, wonderful character, but this could be a wife, a husband. We have Eight of Swords, and we have the devil. I don't like what I'm about to say because it paints it in an unsavory way. Like to say that, well, because they're stuck with a wife, and how toxic is that? Like, no, this Empress is in the upright. This is a wonderful character, is a wonderful person. If somebody is, and this could be, no, I'm not going to change it. Yes, I could say that this can also be someone who's like, a mother figure. Um, but they're stuck because a really positive mother figure is there, but it's them who's toxic, not this individual. So I don't want to paint her or him as a villain because it's not the case. It's our lead character's lack of ability to genuinely take charge of their own fear or toxicity. They are stuck, but wherever they're stuck, they actually kind of enjoy being stuck and they're not admitting that. So, although they claim that they want a high priestess and they're passionate about a high priestess, and that's their wish fulfillment, they're doing nothing to break away from this. Because, in truth, this is a wonderful person. I'm so sorry. This is a pretty ugly message, but this could literally be. Please, this is a great time for me to remind my audience I am a fictional storyteller. I'm not a psychic. So please just know I'm not speaking about you. Please don't think this is what's going on with someone that you care about, because this is fiction. We get to watch these characters play it out and contemplate what they're up to, but we get to make different decisions in our lives. But I will say it this way: if this lead character is, we'll just say married to somebody who is wonderful, who is loving, who is self possessed, who is accomplished. And if they are actually also wanting to be with a queen, or not a queen, but a high priestess, um, the reason they don't go and get with that high priestess is because it's so comfortable when you're living in an empress's empire. I mean, this empress could have like a very nice place to live, and they're like, well, I mean, yeah, I benefit so much being here. I mean, I'm in love with, or I want to be with that high priestess. She's my wish come true. But I would have to leave the empire. Well, I don't want to leave the empire. So it becomes, again, we've seen them as toxic twice. This is not nice any way I slice it. But we got a storyline of somebody who I think is, well, let me zip it. Instead of me being all opinionated, tell me, universe, what's the universe got to say about the way they are behaving in that devil energy in regards to the Empress? We have Temperance and we have the Eight of Cups. They would find a lot more peace in their life if they had the courage to walk away, because right now there's an amazing Empress and they're kind of, it seems like they're getting a free ride, but they feel stuck. But in reality, their fear is to walk away. And yet the universe says the only way they'll ever feel balanced is if they actually walk away. Just because somebody is wonderful still doesn't mean that's where they want to be. What's the message for the Empress? Universe, what's the message for the Empress? Eight of Sacred Circles. The Empress maybe has huge goals of her own for her own life. She's got lots to work on. And it says Empress is going to be just fine. She's got a ton of stuff going on. And she should continue to not, if she's been bending over backwards, doing their laundry, taking care of them, making sure that they're comfortable in her empire, this says she should only be doing her own laundry. She should only be dealing with her own stuff, because she's already super abundant. But if she's making something very comfortable for someone who is kind of mooching at this point, is almost what it seems like. They're staying stuck. If she made it a little less comfortable and just turned her attention to her own stuff, it might help them along and kind of get them out of her hair, so that it's not kind of her lookout anymore. Let me get one more for the Empress, because this also says that the Empress has something else. Three of Wands. Look, this is an Empress being with an Emperor. I kind of feel like she has coming up very soon. She's going to be wanting to move on anyway. She's got some wonderful person on the horizon. Her future looks very different. Very different. And it's almost like she needs to be prepping to get them out of her life to make space for this other amazing future for herself. It's kind of like somebody needs to push somebody out of the nest Now, maybe this is a mother figure. Maybe this is a mother figure with like a grown, adult kid who's still kind of feeling stuck, feeling, well, I got to be here for my moms or my pops or something. And I feel so stuck. I can't go pursue my own relationship. And she's kind of like, I'm kind of good. And in fact, I'm going to have my own relationship pretty soon. So how about you start thinking about moving your stuff out of the house? Because I got a new boo coming in. It's a little like that vibe. Whether this is a mother figure or a wife figure, it doesn't matter. She's got somebody else coming in for her. So, how about the high priestess? Universe, what's the message for the high priestess? The hanged one. High priestess. Look, a high priestess is someone who always senses things, and she sensed she needed to move on and not be waiting on them. But this card says she hasn't been waiting, but things have been gestating anyway. We see a little bambino that's going to be hatching out. So we have, even though she didn't intend to wait, and in fact, I believe she truly moved on. You move on, but there's still things that have already been set in motion. There's more to this story that is yet to, be given birth to. She has a Four of Wands coming up. My question is, universe, is it the Four of Wands with this person who has been a fantasist up until now, has been stuck, has been unwilling to make change up until now? We have the Two of Wands in the reverse, and we have a King of Sacred Circles upright. I just had a 3-part series for the message for the 27th of November, the today's topic series that I put out, and it turned out to be 3 videos long because it was such an epic adventure. And the person who factored in so prominently was the King of Pentacles, and I almost feel like we can't kind of escape that vortex of that storytelling, because here he is again. He, she, whomever. This is a definitive person. That queen, I keep wanting to call her a queen, and she's a high priestess. The high priestess is about to see something unexpected kind of like, give birth into her life, which is a very beautiful union. It's somebody who wants to build an empire with her, unequivocally is ready to do so, ready to build everything, ready to call in the power of the universe, and ready to genuinely be the king of pentacles. I asked, is it this person? Is it the character who's had all these blockages that they kind of created? And I'm still not 100% sure on that. So let me go one last time here. 5 of Swords. I would argue, yes, it is the same person. Why this still works, I couldn't tell you. Because for everything in this, we kind of have painted them as somebody who made a lot of problems for no good reason. They were unwilling to see how much they had drugged their heels and how they could have done things faster. I was very frustrated with this character, which is why I was like, I need to zip it, because I'm about to be like, what? Push that person on out and let them go figure themselves out. And, but this story says they were scared and they were creating blockages everywhere. I don't really know why, other than the devil is ultimately fear. Fear of change. It's like this character didn't know how to end things. Maybe there was guilt. Maybe there was all kinds of stuff. The only thing is that Empress doesn't need or want them. The Empress has her own amazing life that's about to blossom. So if they were sticking around on behalf of the Empress, like we already saw, they might have thought, oh, I'm stuck, I can't possibly move on. But to me, there was something they were getting out of being stuck. Maybe it was not dealing with the fear of change. Maybe they didn't want to be the bad guy or the bad woman, and say, hey, I really want to move on. There's somebody I'm dreaming about. There's a wish fulfillment out there. All of that is tough for me to swallow in this one, just because I'm like, I would have liked to have seen them mature. But in this case, things do still work out. And they do get beyond this. So kudos to them for breaking away and then, having this growth. And then it looks like they're going to end up with their high priestess. I'm a little surprised because I was like, wow, there's a lot that needs to be fixed in this behavior. But they were on the cusp of change. 7 is and 5 are both numbers of change. So I guess it was something that was coming pretty soon anyway. It was imminent. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave that one there. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.